sitting in a suite at the Taj Mahal Hotel, Mumbai, with one of the world's greatest music conductors, Zubin Mehta. I was going to call him one of the world's greatest conductors of all time, but he feels embarrassed at that description. Zubin, welcome to Mumbai.
Thank you.
Welcome home.
That's better.
After how many years?
Well, I left in 55. I've been coming regularly since 67. And since then, I've come with 8 different orchestras.
What brings you here?
Dedicated ladies who work and work and work so that we can come and play our hearts out. But if they wouldn't do the homework or the preliminary work, we wouldn't be here.
You're talking of the Mehta Music Foundation.
And all the ladies who work there voluntarily.
Right. They are doing sterling work in teaching music to children. And this is something which I think has happened in recent years. And this foundation is dedicated to your father. How have things changed from the time when you were a young boy and what you see now?
Well, there was no foundation.
No, I know.
In my youth, my father used to teach at home, like many other musicians. There were some good pianists here who used to teach. My father had a string quartet, and some of the orchestral musicians in his orchestra, the Bombay Symphony, they would teach also. So there was quite a lot of teaching going on. I don't know when it all suddenly stopped, and now it started again.
Yes. Why did it stop? Why was this why was the atmosphere so different then?
Well, I would like to say my father left, but maybe that's not true. But when my father left, there was a certain vacuum of professional performances.
Right.
And now it has started again. You have your Sangeet Festival. There is an orchestra in Bombay. I met the ambassador of Kazakhstan. He says, you know, my musicians are in Bombay playing for you. So, I mean, people are coming together and doing things.
Right. Now, I remember talking to you quite a while ago, and you were saying that in India, Western classical music has not taken a hold as it has, say, in China or Japan, simply because our own musical tradition is so strong.
That's true. That's absolutely true. In China and Japan, they don't have that. They have their music. They have the Chinese grand opera, which is, of course, mostly acrobats.
Right.
And Japan, nobody knows their classical music. So, therefore, this vacuum has been filled by the West. Today, in the Chicago Symphony, I think there are about 14 Chinese musicians. I mean, this is of the highest standard.
Now, does this have to do with state support?
State support, and then they come to America to study, and some of them don't go back. Because these are, the ones in the Chicago Symphony are all born Chinese.
Now, suppose I were to play the devil's advocate and say, when we have such a strong tradition of our own music, why should we bother with Western classical music? How would you answer that? Because
it's there. It's another cultural dimension that we should be aware of, we should adopt. It's so different from the Indian classical music in every way. Indian classical music, melodically, rhythmically, is very advanced, but harmonically none at all.
Well, I have a pet theory which says that we are such individualistic people, and therefore something like Indian classical music suits us because this improvisation is individualistic. There's no ensemble, there's no harmony in the formal sense. Mm-hmm. Whereas Western classical music has all that.
Well, no, there is a tradition of the raga that has evolved, and as you say, each musician is a performer and a composer. You know, when Ravi Shankar, you would play at Carnegie Hall, starting at, let's say, 8 o'clock, it was around midnight that he got warmed up, and the public stayed. And his message and what he carried to the West is, you can't pay for it. On the other hand, you hear a great orchestra like what we have today, and hear the Bavarian State Orchestra,